History coming alive in Baton Rouge. The Sons of the American Revolution hosting a special event marking 246 years since the Battle of Baton Rouge. And Stephen and Eddie joining us this morning with more on this free event. Thank all of you for coming in this morning and dressing up for us this morning too. So Stephen, I'll start with you. Can you just first tell us about the Battle of Baton Rouge and what made it so significant in the American Revolution?
Well, Baton Rouge was the westernmost holding of the British in the Floridas, and this was all part of West Florida. And Spain went to war against Britain in support of the American Revolution, and so Galvez had to eliminate the threat of the British along the Gulf Coast, and the first attack he had to make was he had to take out Baton Rouge because it was the one that was westernmost and it was up against the Mississippi River. And so he began his campaign in August of 1779, and by the time of September 12th rolled around, he was marching his troops into Baton Rouge and was preparing to lay siege to a little fort they had in Baton Rouge. And then the major attack took place on September 21st, and they pretty much overran the fort, took over West Baton Rouge, and then by the same time, with the surrender of the fort in Baton Rouge, they surrendered the fort in Natchez. So all that part along the Mississippi River fell out of British hands, which means that the Americans didn't have to worry about the British coming up the west and come at them from the west side. So it was very pivotal, and it was the beginning of Galvez's campaigns all along the Gulf, where he took over the Florida parishes, the Floridas, all the way across Florida, and kicked the British out of the southeast Louisiana, southeast United States.
So when it comes to Louisiana, and can you kind of explain how the battle, I guess, shaped Louisiana's role in the revolution?
Sure. Well, so many of our ancestors, for those of us who have had family in Louisiana for 300 years or so, ended up as part of the Galvez militia. This is not widely known, but many of those soldiers who fought in the Battle of Baton Rouge and then consequently in the other battles with Galvez were French. French and German. They were our ancestors. They put on their uniform, picked up their musket, and marched to Baton Rouge to start with the war. So it's very important. It's our history. It's our history here. It's not just something that happened here. You know, there's so many people who live here whose families are like mine and have been here for 300 years. It's our history. It's our story. We need to tell it.
So Eddie, 246 years later, what do you hope that, I guess, the younger generation takes from, this particular event that you all are hosting this weekend?
Well, in this day and age, the first thing is we just hope they learn about there was a Revolutionary War battle in Baton Rouge that doesn't seem to be very much talked about in the classroom. The other thing is the diversity of Galvez's army, and I know that's a big deal these days, but it really was a diverse army. It was a Spanish regulars, it was a French militia, serving Spain. It was Native Americans. It was free men of color. So it was quite an operation. I mean, literally multilingual, almost to the degree of being multinational. So it was a very unique place, and at the same time, by opening the Mississippi River, Spain now has control. People don't realize New Orleans is very, very important to supplying George Washington and the Eastern Continental Army with supplies. So they don't have to sneak past the British in West Florida to get those supplies up north along the Ohio River.
So tell us all about this event, Stephen. This is this Saturday, and like I said, it's free, right?
Well, it's free, and it's going to be at the Galvez Plaza at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's going to be ceremonies where a lot of flags are brought in from states around and organizations around that have ancestors that were in the Battle of the Battle of Baton Rouge, and then of course they'll have speeches and other such like. But the best thing is that during the breaks and stuff, you can talk with individual people and learn a lot about the everyday life of people in the Baton Rouge area.